Shayla, hey girl, hey. Bring YouTube on. Okay. We live. I need some Carmex. Oh, Vaseline, this work too. Okay, that's better. Whew. Y'all. I got something to show y'all today. We good. Happy Sunday, y'all. Happy Super Bowl Sunday. It is February the 13th, 2022, day number 30 of year 4 of reading through the books of the law and the prophets, and of the 4-year consecutive day count, day 1048. Today, y'all, we are going to read tablet 13. Tablet 13. We got one more tablet. The last tablet, listening to it is like 5 minutes. So it'll probably take me 20 minutes maybe to read it. Robert, Betwabu. All right, y'all. Let's see, tablet. Then we're going to start in the Anunnaki Bible. All right, beautiful people. So to also, what is this? Hold on. And my big toe, right, chapter 21 on page 152 is where we're going to pick up at after we get done reading the Lost Book of Enki. Trina, hey girl, hey. Linda, good morning, Tyler, hey girl, hey. All right, y'all. Jen, shalom. I'm going to share with y'all what happened to me last night. Well, technically early this morning. But I'm going to get through the reading first. Otherwise, I might be talking way too long and we probably won't get to the reading. All right. So it was another out-of-body experience, so to speak. Okay. And this time it came by way of the gateway process. Anybody else been doing it yet? Jen, did you get to the second wave? Not the second wave, the track 2 of the first wave? Which one you on? Anybody else started it? Decided to start it? Trina. When I woke up this morning after my experience, I did gateway. I'm still in gateway, the first wave, and I did 2. I only meant to do track 2, but since I hit play from the playlist, it kept on playing, so it looped me right into track 3, right? I mean, I guess I was ready for it, because after that one, I woke right up. Excuse me. But afterwards, when I woke up, I couldn't go back to sleep. You know how I told you your insomnia, or the reason why you couldn't go back to sleep was due to you fasting? Technically, that might have been true. But I can see how after you had your experience, if you had an experience, I can see why you would have been up for a couple hours. Because I woke up, it was like, it was like 2:33, not 3. It was 2:33. Then I didn't go back to sleep until after 5, right? I should have just got up anyway, but I didn't. I was going to go back to sleep. So I got a few more minutes. Yahuwah is one, oh great spirit, creator of all life. Let us glorify you in everything that we do. Hallelujah. All right, y'all. So let's get started here with tablet number 13. And then when we get done reading tablet 13 and a portion of my big toe, I'll give y'all all the details about my out-of-body experience. You watched the preview video yesterday. Okay, David. So you ain't going no further than that. Okay. And what I did also, while I was trying to go back to sleep, well, I wasn't trying to go back to sleep. After I had this experience, I just decided, you know what? I'm going to keep a written record of what's happening. And I'll probably share it. Like every time, maybe in the community section, I'll do like an update that way. If y'all want to go watch it and follow the progress, you can see the update. So I thought I may do it back to back. But I was like, you know what, when I feel like I'm ready to move to the next track, I'll just do it. So after I did the first one, I did the first one actually 2 days in a row. So I listened to it twice. But before I listened to it out in the open without it being in my ear, so I could hear everything that was being said all the way through. I just really wanted to double check and verify that there were no nefarious words or anything being said through it, you know. And it wasn't, you know, just his clear voice guiding you and speaking to you, and, you know, just different things through it that he's talking to you about. So I did the first one twice. I'm like, okay, that's cool. I think I got this down pat, right? So, last night, and I did that one, the first one, I think it was Thursday. I did the first one, and I didn't have anything happen. I didn't have any out-of-body experience or astral project or anything like that. After the first one, I did it 2 days in a row, except for, what I could, still was that I had been really, really rested. And, you know, it's only like 30 minutes, you know, but I know I definitely got into the meditative state, but the rest was, it was amazing, you know, even after like that 30 minutes both days, you know. So I'm like, okay, you know, I'll go ahead and move on. But I didn't move on until actually early this morning. So Thursday and Friday I did track 1, and then I didn't do anything yesterday, and I decided early this morning, which I had been up from Saturday anyway, so you can kind of say technically Saturday night when I finally went to sleep, but it wasn't until early Sunday morning that I put it on. Yeah, are the different waves, the different numbers? Yeah, it's 6 waves total, but within each wave there are 6 different, I think it's 6. There are 6 different tracks, and each track is about 30 minutes. And I'll post it again, Dana, under here, the link for it. But yeah, so the experience that I had last night was pretty interesting. It's almost like it, at least from the 3 that I've done already, I think what it's doing is building you up to take the next step. So like the first one is just like it relaxes you, it just teaches you how to do it, work on your breathing, you know, getting your fears out the way. There's actually like a box that you put your fears, your worries, and your cares into. So I got like this specific box that I use now when I'm starting. I was like, all right, I'm going to push this box. And mine is a little more, some people may have like a box with a lid. Mine is a little more high tech, you know. I wanted my box to look cool. So my box is like kind of like silverish gray with this button that I push, and it kind of like unlocks because I want to make sure ain't nothing getting in, nothing getting out. So I got like these bars in it like you would see on safes when somebody locking a safe. Wait till you get to 21. Wait, what you talking about, Dana? Did you listen? You talking about wave the track 21? Look, so mine's like when I press the button, it's like, you know, and it pops up like mechanically, like it's like a where the bars come through, and it like raises up automatically nice and slow, and it's a pretty box. But I can just, when I'm ready to close it, after I put everything in it, all the cares and worries, all demonic scares and church foolishness that I've been taught, all y'all going in a box, and I push it down and it does all its locking by itself. Yours is a shipment container. Ooh, like a 50-foot trailer shipment container that semi trucks pulled in. She said my box is a shipment container. When I hear shipment container, that's what I think. Because of the line of business me and my husband in, I think about the trailers on the back of the semi trucks when I hear shipment container. Yeah, so. Yep. Okay. Wow. You must got a lot of stuff you got to put in, huh? Okay, y'all. Let me start this, and then I'll get into it after we get done. I think I may be talking for a little while. And I thought it was pretty fun. It wasn't as scary, but I really started thinking about this other experience that freaked me out the other day. You know, this wasn't so scary. It was really kind of cool. Okay. Synopsis of the 13th tablet. Lost Book of Enki. Okay. Royal cities sprout with sacred precincts for the gods. Demigods serve as kings and priests in palaces and temples. Marduk promises his royal followers an eternal afterlife. In Sumer, Inanna encourages belief in resurrection. Celestial omens and foretelling oracles gain followings. Marduk proclaims the coming age of the ram as his sign. Ningish Zeta builds stone observatories to show otherwise. Insurrections, wars, invasions destabilize Enlilite lands. The mystery emissary appears to Enlil, foretells a calamity, instructs Enlil to select a worthy man to lead survival. Enlil chooses Ibram. Scion of a priestly royal family. Armies raised by Nabu attempt to seize the spaceport. Overruling Enki, the gods resort to weapons of terror. Ninurta and Nergal obliterate the spaceport and sinning cities. The drifting nuclear cloud brings death to all in Sumer. And here's the picture: gods of the mounts and the chosen man. You can see that. Okay. Right here. Oh, Dana, based on the preview, video 21 is the last level. Okay. Okay, now I saw, no, those are called the focus. There are in here, so if y'all remember the CIA document, when I couldn't go back to sleep, I had to open it back up and go through the focuses, the different ones. So right now I'm still in focus 10, and the next one it's going to take you to is focus 12. But focus 10 just kind of like I said, gets you prepared and everything. And focus 10 is the mind is completely awake, conscious, but the body is deeply asleep. But there are other focuses. If you go, I'm not sure if you guys went to the Monroe Institute website yet. I'm gonna make sure I shared it. I think I shared it before, but I share it again. And it shows you the different focuses that they have. And all of them you don't get into while you're doing the gateway process. But they said based on experiments and the different, you know how people have near-death experiences where they done like died on the operating table or something. There's a focus for that. I forget which focus it is. But there are a couple other focuses to where that they've tapped into with people who have maybe like just died. They're in a place where they're stuck. But there's also a focus, and I forgot the number. It's like in the 20s. I think there's like focus 23, 24, 25, 26, and 27. And there's a couple other focuses, but each up there on the website, it shows you what each focus is and how you get into it. And even if somebody is like in a coma there, I forget which focus that is, but there's a focus for those in comas and where you can help them get out of the coma. Like if you know it, I ain't even got into it yet. I'm like, oh, that look pretty interesting. You know, maybe somebody's sick or something. They just slipped into a coma, or they've been doing something that they had no clue what they was doing, and they done slipped into a coma or whatever, or incoherent. There's a way for those who are trained and prepared. They can actually go into whatever focus that they call it focus. Other places may call it something else, but according to Monroe Institute, this is how they separate and label everything so they know exactly what's going on. Somebody who's trained can actually go into a place where somebody may have gotten themselves stuck and help unstick them and bring them out of the coma. I thought that was pretty interesting. You know, I don't plan on going to that focus anytime soon, but you know, I don't know. It's there, but it's pretty interesting. Y'all should really go look at the website and read some of the information. So much so, it was so interesting that I knew he had wrote like 3 books, a trilogy. I went to Amazon and I downloaded in Audible all 3 of his books, especially after my experience. I was like, yo, how in the world they done figured out how to do this is beyond me. But all the study that they put into it, it works like clockwork. And I'm just like, it's amazing. It's amazing. Everybody in church probably should go through this, right? And then they wouldn't get taken by charlatans. I'm telling you. It teaches you how to use your own brain and just, y'all, I don't know. Definitely when you learn how to do this and you're conscious of your own mind, you probably use them more than just the 10%. I forget how much they said that most people only use, maybe like 10% or maybe 1% in their brain. And you have geniuses that know how to tap into the other parts of their brain and stuff. I can clearly see why and how now. It's amazing. Okay. All right, y'all. Let me finish reading this tablet, then I'll actually get into it. Okay. The 13th tablet. In the third region, civilized mankind did not fully blossom. What to Inanna was entrusted, she neglected. Other domains not to her granted. In her heart, she coveted. When from Anunnaki, at the count of 1,000 years, kingship away was taken. Who the calamity by the end of the next millennium could foresee, who the disaster would have prevented. That in less than a third of one shar, a calamity unknown would befall. Who could foretell? Let me read that again. Who the calamity by the end of the next millennium could foresee, who could the disaster would have prevented. That in less than a third of one shar, a calamity unknown would befall. Who could foretell? Divine blessings. By Inanna was the bitter end started. Marduk as Ra with destiny tangled. Ninurta and Nergal the unspeakable end with their own hands delivered. Why was Inanna with her granted domain not satisfied? Why to Marduk did unforgiving she remain? Journeying between Anunnaki and Arata, Inanna restless and ungratified was. For her beloved Dumuzi she still mourned. Her love's desire unquenched remained. When she flew about in the sun rays, Dumuzi's image she saw shimmering and beckoning. In the nighttime in dream visions he appeared. I will return, he was saying. The glories of his domain in the land of the two narrows to her he was promising. Oh, that sound kind of familiar, don't it? I don't want to put that out there, but if that sound like something, let me read this again. If that sound like something, y'all, go ahead and type it in. Listen. When she flew about in the sun rays, Dumuzi's image she saw shimmering and beckoning. In the nighttime in dream visions he appeared. I will return, he was saying. The glories of his domain in the land of the two narrows to her he was promising. In the sacred precinct of Anunnaki, a house for nighttime pleasure she established. To this Gingunu young heroes, on the night of their weddings, with sweet words she lured. Long life, a blissful future to them she promised, that her lover Dumuzi was she imagined. Each one in the morning in her bed was found dead. It was at that time that the hero Banda left for dead, alive to Unki returned. By the grace of Utu, whose seed he was, did Banda from the dead return. A miracle, excited Inanna shouted. My beloved Dumuzi to me came back. In her abode, Banda was bathed with a sash, and a fringe cloak on him was fastened. Dumuzi, my beloved, she called him. To her bed with flowers bedecked, she lured him. When in the morning Banda was alive, with joy Inanna shouted, the power of not dying in my hands was placed. Immortality by me is granted. Then to call herself a goddess, Inanna decided. The power of immortality it implied. Nanar and Ningal, Inanna's parents, by her proclamation were not pleased. Enlil and Ninurta by Inanna's words were disconcerted. Utu, her brother, was bemused. The dead to revive is not possible, Enki to Ninharsag to each other said. In the lands of Ki Engi, the people of their good fortune praise. The gods are among us. Death they can abolish. So to each other the people said. On the throne of Anunnaki, Banda his father, and Merkur succeeded. Lugal, great man, was his title. The goddess Ninsun of Enlil's seed took him to be her spouse. The hero Gilgamesh, their son, on the throne of Anunnaki, Lugal band followed. As the years passed and Gilgamesh grew older, of life and death to his mother, Ninsun spoke about the death of his forebears. Although of Anunnaki descended, he wondered, do gods die? His mother, he asked. I shall too, though 2/3 divine, as a mortal over the wall climb. So to her he said, as long as on earth you abide, the death of an earthling you will overwhelm. Ninsun to her son said, but if to Nibiru you will be taken, long life thereon you will attain. To take Gilgamesh aloft to Nibiru journey, Ninsun to Utu the commander appealed. Endlessly, Ninsun to Utu appealed. Day after day with him she pleaded, let Gilgamesh to the landing place go. Utu in the end agreed. To guide and protect him, Ninharsag, a double of Gilgamesh, fashioned. Enkidu, as by Enki created, he was called. Of a womb he was not born. Blood in his veins he was not. Let me read that again. Let Gilgamesh to the landing place go. Utu in the end agreed. To guide and protect him, Ninharsag, a double of Gilgamesh, fashioned. Enkidu, as by Enki created, was he called. Of a womb he was not born. Blood in his veins was not. So she literally just made a clone of her son, right? I call it a clone. They call it a double. With the comrade Enkidu, Gilgamesh to the landing place journey. Utu with oracles his progressive oversaw. Utu with oracles his progress oversaw. At the entrance to the cedar forest, its fire-belching monster their way blocked. With trickery, they, the monster, confused, to pieces they broke. When the secret entrance to the tunnels of the Anunnaki they found, by the bull of heaven, a creature of Enlil, with deathly snorts they were challenged. To the gates of Unuki, the monster them chased. At the city's ramparts by Enkidu, it was smitten. When Enlil this heard, with agony he cried. In the heavens of Anu was his wailing heard. For in his heart Enlil well knew, bad indeed was the omen. For having the bull of heaven slain, to perish in waters Enkidu was punished. Gilgamesh, having by Ninsun and Utu been instructed of the slain, was absolved. Still the long life of Nibiru seeking, Gilgamesh to proceed to the place of the chariots by Utu was permitted. After many adventures, the land of Tilman, the fourth region, he reached. Through its subterranean tunnels he proceeded. In a garden of precious stones, Ziusudra he met. The events of the deluge Ziusudra to Gilgamesh related. The secret of long living to Gilgamesh he revealed. A plant in the garden's well was growing. Ziusudra and his spouse from getting old it prevented. Unique of all the plants on the earth it was. By it a man full of vigor can regain. Man at old age is young again. This is the plant's name, Ziusudra to Gilgamesh said. A gift of Enki, with Enlil's blessing, on the mount of salvation to us was granted. When Ziusudra and his spouse were asleep, Gilgamesh to his feet, stones tied. Into the well he dived, the plant of being young again, he grasped and uprooted. With the plant in his satchel, through the tunnels he hurried. To Unuki he made his way. When he tired and was asleep, a snake by the plant's fragrance was attracted. The plant did the snake snatch from the sleeping Gilgamesh. With the plant it vanished. In the morning, his loss discovering, Gilgamesh sat and wept. To Unuki, empty-handed he returned. As a mortal, therein he died. 7 more kings in Unuki after Gilgamesh reigned. Then its kingship came to an end. Precisely when the count of 1,000 earth years was completed, it was. To Urim, the city of Nanar and Ningal, was kingship of the first region transferred. To all these matters that in the other regions were occurring, Marduk much heed gave. By Inanna's dreams and visions to Dumuzi's domain eluding, Ra was disturbed. To counteract Inanna's schemes of expansion, he was determined. In the matters of resurrection and immortality, he found much to ponder. The thought of divine godship to him greatly appealed. To be a great god himself, he announced. By what to Gilgamesh, in good measure, an earthling was permitted, Ra was angered. Remember, Ra is Marduk, right? But a clever way wherewith the loyalty of kings and people to retain, he deemed it. If demigods, the gateway to immortality, are shown, let this to the kings of my region apply. So did Marduk in the second region, by the name Ra known to himself, words say, let the kings of my region of Neturu offspring be, to Nibiru in an afterlife journey. So did Ra in his realm decree. The kings how to build tombs facing eastward he taught. To the priests, scribes, a long book he dictated. The afterlife journey in detail it was described. How to reach the Duat, the place of the celestial boats, and the book was told. How to there, by a stairway to heaven, to the imperishable planet journey. Of the plant of life partake, the waters of youth, to satiation drink. Of the coming of the gods to earth by Ra were the priests taught. Gold is the splendor of life to them, he said. The flesh of the gods it is. To the kings, Ra said, to make expeditions to the Abzu and the lower domain, gold to obtain, the kings he instructed. When by the force of weapons the kings of Ra lands, not theirs conquered, his brothers' realms he invaded, their ire he caused to arise and grow. What is Marduk up to? The brothers of each other asked, that over us he tramples. To their father Enki they appealed. To Ptah, his father Ra, did not listen. Remember, Ptah is Enki, just like Ra is Marduk, right? These are the same Anunnaki. They now have these names that Egypt is familiar with. Auntie Belinda Brown, shalom, shalom. Peace, love, purification, and prosperity to all. Uncle JB, shalom. What is Marduk up to? The brothers each other asked. That over us he tramples. To their feet, Enki, they appealed. To Ptah, his father Ra, did not listen. To capture all adjoining lands, the kings of Magan and Meluha, Ra directed. To be the master of the four regions was his heart's plan. The earth is mine to rule. So adamantly to his father he said. Now this is the account of how Marduk Supreme himself declared and Babali built. Yea, shalom, shalom. So y'all should know just by the name what Babali is, right? It's Babylon. It's just the short version of Babel. Babel, Babali, Babylon. Now this is the account of how Marduk Supreme himself declared and Babali built, and how Inanna warrior kings commanding blood made flow and sacrileges follow. After kingship to Urim from Anunnaki was transferred, Nanar and Ningal on the people smiled. As his rank of 30 befitting, as the god of the moon, Nanar was worshipped. As the count of the moon, months in a year, 12 festivals each year he decreed. To each of the 12 great Anunnaki, a month and its festival were dedicated. Throughout the first region to the Anunnaki gods, great and lesser ones, shrines and sanctuaries were built. The people to their gods could directly pray. In the first region, civilization from Ki Engi to other neighboring lands spread. In the cities of man, local rulers as righteous shepherds were designated. Artisans and farmers, shepherds and weavers, their products far and wide exchanged. Laws of justice were decreed. Contracts of trade, of espousal and divorce were honored. In schools, the young ones studied. Scribes, hymns and proverbs and wisdom recorded. Abundance and happiness were in the lands. Quarrels and encroachments there also were. All while Inanna in her sky ship from land to land roamed, near the upper sea with Utu she frolicked. To the domain of her uncle Ishkur she went. Dudu, beloved, she called him. That's D-U-D-U. That was just funny to me. To the people who in the upper plain of the two rivers dwelt, Inanna took a liking. The sound of their tongue she found pleasant. To speak their language she learned. By the name of the planet Lamu, in their tongue Ishtar they called her. Uruk, her city, Unuki they called. Dudu as Adad, in their language they pronounced. Sin, lord of oracles, her father Nanar they named. Urim city, by them was called. So now some of these cities are sounding more biblical like, right? Remember the Chaldeans of it was of the Chaldeans. Yeah, I might have had that backwards. But y'all know what I'm talking about. You are. Sin, lord of oracles, her father Nanar they named. Urim city, by them was called. Shamash, bright sun, in their tongue Utu they called. Him too they worshipped. Enlil, by them father Enlil was called. Nippur, by them was Nibru-Ki. Ki-Engi, land of lofty watchers. Shumer, in their language, was named. In Shumer, the first region, kingship between the cities was rotated. In the second region, diversity by Ra was not permitted. Alone to reign he wished. The eldest of heaven, firstborn who was on earth, thus by the priest to be known he wanted. The foremost from the earliest times, so he decreed in the hymns to be called. Lord of eternity, he who everlastingness has made, over all the gods presiding. This is Marduk. This is an ode or hymn to Marduk, Lord of eternity. So if y'all never used that, you might have been calling Marduk the Lord of eternity. I'm just saying. There's like a billion names that they praise and honor Marduk with. And you will find just about all of them, or all the ones that Christianity uses. You will find them in that book of praises and hymns to Marduk. And it's eye-opening, to say the least. The eldest of heaven, firstborn who was on earth, thus by the priest to be known he wanted. The foremost from the earliest times, so he decreed in the hymns to be called. Lord of eternity, he who everlastingness has made, over all the gods presiding. The one who is without equal, the great solitary and sole one. So did Marduk as Ra above all other gods himself in place. Their powers and attributes to himself he by himself assigned. As Enlil I am for lordship and decrees, as Ninurta for the whole in combat, as Adad for lightning and thunder, and Nanar for illuminating the night. As Utu I am Shamash, as Nergal over the lower world I reign. As Gibal the golden depths I know, whence copper and silver come I have found. As Ningish Zeta numbers and their account I command. The heavens my glory bespeak. By these proclamations, the Anunnaki leaders were greatly alarmed. To their father Enki, the brothers of Marduk spoke. Nergal to Ninurta their concerns conveyed. What has you overpowered? Enki to his son Marduk said, unheard of are your pretensions. The heavens, my supremacy bespeak. Marduk, his father Enki answered. Maybe if they had just given this boy a rulership earlier down the line, they wouldn't have had all these shenanigans right now where he claimed himself Lord Supreme, Lord over all, and everybody that worships, I'm the top God. Maybe they wouldn't have all this right now. But be it as it may, this is where we at today. Jen, Abram's dad, an idol maker after these, maybe. Maybe you talking about Terra? Yeah. There's a lot of information about Terra. Yeah, because if I'm not mistaken, in Torah, Abraham's dad, he had his house was full of idols, and it was actually I think it's Jasher, but also there's a lot of detail in the legends of the Jews that talks about Torah and all his idols and the ones that Abraham destroyed. And he had some Marduk idols as well. Okay. What has you overpowered? Enki to his son Marduk said. Unheard of are your pretensions. The heavens, my supremacy bespeak. Marduk, his father, Enki answered. The bull of heaven, Enlil's constellation sign by his own offspring, was slain. In the heavens, the age of the ram, my age is coming. Unmistakable the omens are. In his abode in Eridu, the circle of the 12 constellations, Enki examined. On the first day of spring, the beginning of the year, sunrise was carefully observed. In the constellation, stars of the bull, was the sun that day rising. In the constellation, stars of the bull, was the sun that day rising. In Nebruki and Urim, Enlil and Nanar, the observations made. In the lower world, where the instrument's station had been, Nergal, the results attested. Still remote was the time of the ram, the age of the bull of Enlil, it still was. In his domains, Marduk in his assertions did not relent. By Nabu he was assisted. To domains, not his emissaries, he sent. To the people that his time has come to announce. So if you're familiar with some astrology stuff, like the latest time that they said we're in is the time of Aquarius. And that would have been, well, I don't know exactly when it started, but I actually started hearing about it like at the end of 2020. I'm like, the age of Aquarius, what is that? Aquarius, ain't that a zodiac sign? I was still kind of oblivious to all of this. I knew there were zodiac signs, but I didn't really quite understand what they were saying, right? So this is what they're looking for. And so I still don't quite understand how I know it's a certain period of time and the ages change. I want to say that, I don't know. I want to say, I think I'm kind of on the right line where each reign is 1,000 years. And based on what I read and hear already, I think each reign of the 12 constellations, like whichever god is set up to reign during that time, like Marduk said, that his reign is the time of the ram. I think the time of his reign is 1,000 years. And thinking about in Christianity, the millennial reign, the 1,000-year reign with Christ, I'm thinking that's what it is. I'm thinking 2012 Y2K. I'm thinking that's what each reign is. That the reign of the bull, which the reign of the lion was Enki, I think. I could be getting screwed up, but y'all know what I'm saying. We read about that earlier. It's in a chapter with the pyramids, right? So it's going to recognize the age of the lion, which is why they built the Sphinx, and they put one between the pyramid. No, they didn't put it between the pyramids, but they had it facing the east so that people would remember that these were built during his reign, So I don't know. I'm still trying to figure all that out. If y'all know, help a sister out. Yeah, that's why Abram had to leave his father's house. He destroyed Torah's idols. You can't stay here destroying my gods. All right, G. I catch you on the flip side. Okay. Still remote was the time of the ram, the age of the bull of Enlil, it still was. Okay, yeah, so the lion was Enki, the bull is Enlil, and the ram is Marduk or Ra. In his domains, Marduk in his assertions did not relent. By Nabu, he was assisted. Yeah, see, I don't, Dana, I heard about retrograde for each constellation based on the timing. All that, like, all the retrograde talk and stuff, I still don't quite understand all of that. So some of that sound like a bunch of blah, 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 wonk, 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 what, to me. So I'm still reading and trying to get what they're saying when they're talking about this is going in retrograde and all these other things. And yeah, I ain't there yet on that part. I'm still studying. Okay. In his domains, Marduk and his assertions did not relent. By Nabu he was assisted. To domains, not his emissaries, he sent to the people that his time has come to announce. To Ningish Zeta, the Anunnaki leaders appealed how to the people the skies to observe, to teach. In his wisdom, stone structures Ningish Zeta devised, Ninurta and Ishkur to erect them helped. Yeah, I don't know, dang. I don't know. In the settled lands near and far, the people how the skies to observe they taught. Well, okay, I do kind of understand it. She said, but they are aligned with new moons each month. There is like a bigger overall time, like the age of Aquarius. And within the age of Aquarius, all the different constellations move, just like within every single month. The fasting days that we're learning about, whatever your sign is, within each new moon cycle, each and every month, all 12 of the constellations, they kind of just like go in no order, and they're found within each month. But they can also found to be a month themselves, and it just spirals out and gets bigger. Right, so it's like the smaller versions. They're smaller, like the months in each month, how they hit every month is like smaller versions of the bigger picture, and it just keeps kind of like blossoming out to where it just, I don't know, but yeah, I'm trying to figure all that out. Still researching, yeah. So I think it's a thing like that, which yeah. Let me finish reading. In the settled lands near and far, the people how the skies to observe, they taught that the sun in the constellation of the bull was still rising to the people they showed. With sorrow did Enki these ongoings watch, how fate the rightful order twisted he pondered. After the Anunnaki, as gods themselves declared, on mankind's support they instead are dependent. In the first region to unify the lands under one leader, the Anunnaki decided a warrior king they desired. To Inanna of Marduk the adversary, the task of the right man to find they entrusted. A strong man whom on her journeys she had met and loved, Inanna to Enlil indicated. Arbakad of 4 garrisons, the commander, was his father a high priestess, his mother was. Scepter and crown Enlil gave him. Sharukin, righteous regent, Enlil him appointed. As on Nibiru once was done, a new crown city, the lands to unify, was established. A god and unified city, they named it. Not far from Kishi was it located. That's interesting, Kimball. Years ago, there was a singing group called the Fifth Dimension. They had a song called Aquarius. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff on Aquarius and the age of Aquarius, and people that understand it way better than I do. But I was looking through it. It still ain't clicked with me how it all works yet. So I think I'm still missing more pieces of the puzzle before it actually clicks into place where I can sit here and explain to you how the different signs operate in different ages, how they come and how they go out. And yeah, I'm not there yet. As on Nibiru once was done, a new crown city, the lands to unify, was established. A god, the unified city, they named it. Not far from Kishi, it was located. By Enlil was Sharukin empowered, Inanna with her weapons of brilliance, his warriors accompanied. All the lands from the lower sea to the upper sea to his throne obedience gave. At the borders of the 4th region to protect it, his troops were stationed. With a cautious eye, Ra on Inanna and Sharukin constantly gazed. Then as a falcon on his prey, he pounced. From the place where Marduk, the tower to heaven reaching to build, had attempted, sacred soil from there to our God did Sharukin move, therein the heavenly bright object to implant. Enraged did Marduk to the first region rush, with Nabu and followers to the tower's place they came. Of the sacred soil, I alone the possessor am. By me shall a gateway of the gods be established. So did Marduk vehemently announce. Instructions the river to divert to his followers he gave. Dikes and walls in the place of the tower they raised. The Isagil house for the utmost god, for Marduk they built. Babali, the gateway of the gods, Nabu in his father's honor named it. In the heart of the Eden, in the midst of the first region, Marduk himself established. Inanna's fury no boundary knew. With her weapons on Marduk's followers, death she inflicted. The blood of people as never before on earth, like rivers flowed. To his brother Marduk, Nergal to Babali came. For the sake of the people of Babali to leave him, he persuaded. Let us peacefully wait for the true signs of heaven, Nergal to his brother said. To depart, Marduk agreed. From land to land, the skies to watch, he traveled. Amun, the unseen one, in the second region was Ra, henceforth called, or Amen Ra. That's still Marduk. So whichever name they use, and they still talking about Marduk. So Amen Ra, we still talking about Marduk. Enki's mad son. For a while was Inanna appeased. 2 sons of Sharukin his peaceful successors were. Then on the throne of Agad, Sharukin's grandson ascended. Naram-Sin, by Sin loved, he was called. In the first region, Enlil and Ninurta absent were. To the lands beyond the oceans they went. In the second region, Ra was away. As Marduk in the other lands he traveled. Her chance in her hands to seize all powers, Inanna envisioned. Naram-Sin to seize all lands she commanded. To march against Magan, Maluha, Marduk domains, Naram-Sin she instructed. The sacrilege of an earthling's army through the fourth region, passing Naram-Sin committed. Magan he invaded, the sealed Eker, house which like a mountain is, to enter he attempted. By the sacrileges and transgressions, Enlil was infuriated. Upon Naram-Sin and Agag a curse he put. By a bite of a scorpion did Naram-Sin die. By the command of Enlil was Agag wiped out. At the count of 1,500 earth years did this happen. Now this is the account of the prophecy by Galzu to Enlil. Let's see how many pages. Okay, we still got a few more pages. Okay. Now this is the account of the prophecy by Galzu to Enlil in a vision given. About Marduk's supremacy it was, how a calamity to survive a man to choose. After Marduk, Amun became kingship in the second region, disintegrated, disorder and confusion reigned. After Agag was wiped out, in the first region there was disorder, confusion reigned. In the first region, kingship was in disarray. From the cities of gods to cities of man, it moved about. Enuki, Lagash, Urim, and Kish, Isin, and to faraway places, kingship was shifting. Then Enlil, with Anu consulting, kingship in the hands of Nanar deposited. To Urim, in whose soil the divine heavenly bright object remained implanted, kingship for the third time was granted. In Urim, a righteous shepherd of men, Nanar as king appointed, Namu was his name. Equity in the lands of Namu established, to violence and strife an end he made. In all the lands prosperity was abundant. It was at that time that in the nighttime Enlil a dream vision had. The image of a man to him appeared, bright and shining like the heavens he was. As he approached and by Enlil's bed stood, Enlil, the white-haired Galzu, recognized. In his left hand a tablet of lapis lazuli he was holding. The starry heavens on it were designed. By the 12 constellation signs were the heavens divided. To them with his left hand Galzu pointed. From the bull to the ram, Galzu his pointing shifted. 3 times the pointing he repeated. Then in the dream vision, Galzu spoke up and to Enlil thus said, the righteous time of benevolence and peace by evil doing and bloodshed will be followed. In 3 celestial portions, the ram of Marduk, the bull of Enlil, will replace. One who himself as supreme God has declared supremacy on earth will seize. A calamity as never before occurred, by fate decreed, will happen. As at the time of the deluge, a righteous and worthy man must be chosen. So something else is about to happen the second time. They had the flood the first time, and the one that was chosen was Noah, which we know him by, but his name in here was called Zeusudra, right? So another calamity is about to happen. We need to stop Marduk and his craziness. Another thing is about to happen, and we need to choose another chosen person, another man from the earthlings' offspring, so they can be saved. All right, just kind of catch you up. Okay. Let me go back a little bit. Okay. Then in the dream vision, Galzu spoke up and to Enlil thus said. Remember, this Galzu is the same one that came to Enki, that told Enki, get Zeusudra and teach him how to save himself, right? And here are the plans. Get his to him. This is the same Galzu. Then in a dream vision, Galzu spoke up and to Enlil thus spoke. The righteous time of benevolence and peace by evil doing and bloodshed will be followed. In 3 celestial portions, the ram of Marduk, the bull of Enlil, will replace. One who himself as supreme God has declared supremacy on earth will seize. Marduk is going to completely take over Enlil's reign. Okay, I had that backwards at first. Okay. A calamity as has never before occurred, by fate decreed, will happen. As at the time of the deluge, a righteous and worthy man must be chosen. By him and his seed will civilized mankind, as by the Creator of all intended, be preserved. So did Galzu, the divine emissary to Enlil, in the dream vision say. When Enlil from the nighttime dream vision awakened, there was no tablet beside his bed. Was it an oracle from heaven, or did I, it, all in my heart imagine? Enlil to himself wondered. To none of his sons, Nanar among them, nor to Ninlil did he of the dream vision tell. Among the priests in the Nibru-Ki temple, Enlil of celestial savants inquired. Terhu, an oracle priest, to him the high priest indicated. Of Ibru, Ibru, of Ibru of Arkad, the grandson, he was descended, 6th generation of Nibru-Ki priests he was. With the royal daughters of Urim's kings, they were intermarried. Get yourself to Nanar's temple in Urim, the heavens for celestial time observe. 72 earth years is the count of a celestial portion, the passage of 3 thereof carefully record. So did Enlil to Terhu the priest say. The prophesied time he made him count. While Enlil the dream vision and its portents pondered, Marduk from land to land went. Of his supremacy, the people he was telling, to followers gain was his purpose. In the lands of the upper sea and the lands on Ki Ingi bordering Nabu, Marduk's son, was the people inciting to seize the 4th region was his plan. Between the dwellers of the west and the dwellers of the east, clashes were occurring. Kings' host of warriors formed, caravans ceased going, the walls of cities were raised. What Galzu had foretold indeed was happening, Enlil to himself said. Upon Terhu and his sons of worthy lineage descended, Enlil set his gaze. This is the man to choose, by Galzu indicated, Enlil to himself said. To Nanar, without the dream vision revealing, Enlil to his son thus said. In the land between the rivers whence Arbakad had come, a city like Urim established, a home abode away from Urim, let it be for you and Ningal be.
Okay, I found this on the web. For a city like Uran, establish a home abode away from...
I didn't say anything to you, Siri. Mom, shalom. Siri be eavesdropping. No, I must have said something that sounded like her name. In the land between the rivers, whence Arbakad had come, a city like Urim established, a home abode away from Urim, let it for you and Ningal be. In its midst, a temple shrine established, the priest Prince Terhu in charge thereof appoint. By his father's word abiding, Nanar in the land of Arbakad, the city of Haran established. To be high priest in its temple shrine, Terhu he sent, his family with him. When 2 celestial portions out of the prophesied 3 were completed, did Terhu to Haran go. At that time, Namu, the joy of Urim, in the western lands from his chariot fell and died. On the throne of Urim, his son Shugi him succeeded. Full of vow and eager for battles, Shugi was. In Nabruki, himself high priest, he anointed. In Anunnaki, the joys of Inanna's vulva, he sought. Warriors from the mountain lands to Nanar, not beholden, in his army he enlisted. With their help, the western lands he overran. The sanctity of mission control center he ignored. In the sacred 4th region, his foot he set. King of the 4 regions himself he declared. About the defilements, Enlil was angered. About the invadings, Enki to Enlil spoke. The rulers of your region, all bounds have exceeded, Enki to Enlil bitterly said. Of all the troubles, Marduk is the fountainhead, Enlil to Enki retorted. Still the dream vision to himself keeping, Enlil to Terhu his attention turned. Upon Ebru the eldest son of Terhu, Enlil cast the choosing gaze. So that's probably about right. The eldest son Terhu, which the Bible would be Torah, right? Terhu, Torah, that's pretty close. Then Abram, which we know that it probably is Abram, right? Abraham. And Abraham, in some translations, it is Abram, right? It's same people, same folk. Still the dream vision to himself keeping, Enlil to Terhu his attention turned. Upon Ebru the eldest son of Terhu, Enlil cast the choosing gaze. A princely offspring, valiant with priestly secrets, acquainted Abram was. To protect the sacred places, the chariots' ascents and descents enable, Enlil Abram to go commanded. No sooner did Abram from Haran, that's the same Abraham, same Abram, it's the same person. No sooner did Abram from Haran depart than in that city Marduk arrived. The defilements he too had observed, as birth pangs of a new order, he them deemed. From Haran, on the threshold of Shumer, his final thrust he planned. From Haran, at the edge of Ishkur's domain situated, the raising of armies he directed. When 24 earth years of his sojourn in Haran had passed, Marduk to the other gods, of whom ever descended, tearfully an appeal made, confessing his transgressions, but insisting on his lordship. To them he thus said, O gods of Haran, O great gods who judge, learn my secrets. As I girdle my belt, my memories I remember. I am the divine Marduk, a great god. In my domains as Ra I am known. For my sins to exile I went. To the mountains have I gone. In many lands I wandered. From where the sun rises to where the sun sets, I went. To the land of Ishkur I came. 24 years in the midst of Haran I nested. An omen in its temple I sought. Until when, about my lordship, an omen in the temple I asked. Your days of exile are completed. To me the oracle in the temple said, O great gods, who the fates determine, let me to my city set my course. My temple, Esagil, as an everlasting abode establish, a king in Babylon install. In my temple house let all the Anunnaki gods assemble, my covenant accept. So Marduk, confessing and appealing to the other gods, his coming announced. By his appeal for their submission, the Anunnaki gods were disturbed and alarmed. To a great assembly, counsel to take, Enlil them all summoned. All the Anunnaki leaders in the Bruki gathered. Enki and Marduk's brothers also came. About the happenings of all of them were agitated. Opposed to Marduk and Nabu, they all were. In the council of the great gods, accusations were rampant. Recriminations filled the chamber. What is coming, no one can prevent. Let us Marduk's supremacy accept. Enki alone counsel. If the time of the ram is coming, let us Marduk of the bond heaven earth deprive. Enlil in anger propose to obliterate the place of the celestial chariots. All except Enki agreed. To use therefore the weapons of terror, Nergal suggested. Only Enki was opposed. Of the decision, earth to Anu, the words pronounced. Anu to earth, the words repeated. What was destined to be by your decision to undo will fail. So did Enki say as he departed. The evil thing to carry out, Ninurta and Nergal were selected. Now this is the account of how fate to destiny did lead, how step by step, some in long forgotten times shaken, the great calamity made happen. Now, let it for all time be recorded and remembered. When the decision to use the weapons of terror was made, to himself Enlil 2 secrets kept. To no one, before the terrible decision was taken, did Enlil the secret of Galzu's dream reveal. To no one, until the fate decision was made, did Enlil his knowledge of the terror's hiding place disclose. When, despite all protestations, the counsel to use the weapons of terror permitted, when Enki, angry and distraught, the council chamber left, in his heart was Enki smiling. Only he knew where the weapons were hidden. So did Enki think. For it was he, before Enlil to earth had come, who with Abgal in the place unknown the weapons did hide. That Abgal to the exile Enlil the place disclosed, that to Enki was unknown. When Enki this second secret heard, in his heart a wishful thought he harbored, that after such a long sojourn the weapons terror would have evaporated. Little did Enki expect the long sojourn a calamity as never before known on earth to cause. Thus it was without Enki needing Enlil to the 2 heroes the hiding place disclosed. Those 7 weapons of terror in a mountain they abide, to them Enlil said. In a cavity inside the earth they dwell, with the terror to clad them is required. Then the secret of how the weapons from their deep sleep awakened, Enlil to them did reveal. Before the 2 sons, one of Enlil, one of Enki, to the hiding place departed. Enlil to them words of forewarning said, ere the weapons are used by the Anunnaki must the chariot's place be vacated. The cities must be spared, the people must not perish. In his sky ship, Nergal to the hiding place soared. Ninurta by his father was delayed. A word to his son alone Enlil wished to say, a secret to him alone revealed. About the prophecy of Galzu and the choosing of Ibram to Ninurta, he told, hot-headed is Nergal. Make sure that the cities are spared, that Ibram is forewarned, to Ninurta, Enlil said. When Ninurta at the weapons place arrived, Nergal from the captivity had already them brought out. As their Medes from the long slumber he awakened, to each one of the 7 Nergal a task name gave. The one without rival, the first weapon he called. The blazing flame he named the second. The one who with terror crumbles he called the third. Mountain melter, the fourth he called. Wind that the rim of the world seeks, he named the fifth. The one who above and below no one spares was the sixth. The seventh with monstrous venom was filled, vaporizer of living things, he called it. With Anu's blessings were the seven to Nergal, and Inerta given therewith to destruction wreak. When Inerta at the place of the weapons of terror arrived to destroy and annihilate, was Nergal ready. I shall kill the son, I will annihilate the father. Nergal with vengeance was shouting. The lands they covet will vanish, the sinning cities I will upheaval. So did Nergal in rage announce. Valiant Nergal, will you, the righteous, with the unrighteous destroy? So did Inerta, his comrade, ask. Sound a little like Sodom and Gomorrah-ish, right? Will you destroy the righteous with the wicked? Far be it from me to destroy the righteous with the wicked. I shall kill the son. I will annihilate the father. Nergal with vengeance was shouting. The lands they covet will vanish. The sinning cities will upheaval. So did Nergal enraged announce. Valiant Nergal, will you, the righteous, with the unrighteous destroy? So did Inerta, his comrade, ask. The instructions of Enlil are clear. To the selected targets, the way I will lead, you behind me will follow. The decision of the Anunnaki to me is known, Nergal to Inerta said. For 7 days and 7 nights, the signal from Enlil, the two awaited. As was his intention, when his waiting was completed, Marduk to Babylon returned. In the presence of his followers, with weapons, his supremacy he declared. 1,736 was the count of earth years then. On that day, on that fateful day, Enlil to Ninerta the signal sent. To Mount Mashu, Ninerta departed. Behind him, Nergal followed. The mount and the plain in the heart of the fourth region, Ninerta from the skies surveyed. With a squeezing in his heart, to Nergal a sign he gave. Keep off, to him he signaled. Then the first terror weapon from the skies, Ninerta let loose. The top of Mount Mashu, with a flash, it sliced off the mount's innards. In an instant, it melted. Above the place of the celestial chariots, the second weapon he unleashed. With a brilliance of 7 suns, the plains rocks into a gushing wound were made. The earth shook and crumbled. The heavens after the brilliance were darkened. With burnt and crushed stones was the plain of the chariots covered. Of all the forests that the plain had surrounded, only tree stems were left standing. It is done, Ninerta from the sky ship, his black divine bird, words shouted. The control that Marduk and Nabu so coveted, of it they are forever deprived. Then to emulate Ninerta, Nergal desired to be Era the annihilated, his heart him urged. Following the king's highway to the verdant valley of the 5 cities, he flew. In the verdant valley where Nabu, the people, was converting, Nergal, as a caged bird to squash him, planned. Over the 5 cities, one after the other, Era upon from the skies a terror weapon sent. Of the 5 cities of the valley, he finished all. To desolation they were overturned. With fire and brimstones were they upheavaled. All that lived there to vapor was turned. By the awesome weapons where the mountains toppled, where the sea waters were barred, the bolts broke open. Down into the valley's seas waters poured. By the waters was the valley flooded. When upon the city's ashes the waters poured, steam to the heavens was rising. It is done, Era in his skyship shouted. In Nergal's heart there was no more vengeance. Surveying their evil handiwork, the 2 heroes by what they saw were puzzled. By a darkening of the skies where the brilliances followed. Then a storm to blow began. Swirling within a dark cloud, gloom from the skies, an evil wind carried. As the day wore on, the sun on the horizon, with darkness it obliterated. At night time, the dreaded brilliance skirted its edges. The The moon at its rising it made disappear. When dawn the next morning came, from the west, from the upper sea, a storm wind began blowing. The dark brown cloud, eastward it directed, toward the settled lands did the cloud spread. Wherever it reached, death to all that lives mercilessly. Wherever it reached, death to all that lives mercilessly it delivered. From the valley of no pity, by the brilliances spawned, toward Shumer the death was carried. To Enlil and Enki, Ninurta and Nergal the alarm sounded. Unstoppable, the evil wind, death to all delivers. The alarm, Enlil and Enki, to the gods of Shumer transmitted. Escape, escape to them all, they cried out. Let the people disperse, let the people hide. From their cities the gods did flee. Like frightened birds from their nests escaping there were. The people of the lands by evil storm's hand were clutched. Futile was the running, stealthy was the death. Like a ghost the fields and the cities it attacked. The highest walls, the thickest walls, like flood waters it passed. No door could shut it out, no bolt could turn it back. Those who behind locked doors hid inside their houses like flies were felled. Those who to the streets fled, in the streets were their corpses piled up. Cough and phlegm, the chests filled, the mouths with spittle and foam filled up. As the evil wind, the people unseen engulfed, their mouths were drenched with blood. Slowly over the lands the evil wind blew, from west to east over plains and mountains it traveled. Everything that lived behind it was dead and dying. People and cattle, all alike perished. The waters were poisoned. In the fields, all vegetation withered. From Eridu in the south to Sippar in the north, did the evil wind the land overwhelm. Babylon, where Marduk supremacy declared by the evil wind, was spared. So everybody died except for Babylon and all of those there. And that, my beautiful people, that is actually the end of the 13th tablet. Where we at? An hour and 11 minutes. This last tablet, the 14th tablet. I mean, I really could read this. It's really short. I'll wait till tomorrow, just because all the videos are separate. But I'll probably be done with this in literally like 5 minutes. Okay, so I'll save it for tomorrow. But that was the end of tablet 13. Okay. And we'll actually finish with this tomorrow. So we're going to get started with the Anunnaki Bible a day sooner. Possibly. I may add a little bit of it in tomorrow. I don't know. Let me think about it. Maybe, no, maybe not. Maybe I'll keep it short. I'll keep it short. The video is definitely going to probably be like an hour tomorrow, right? Definitely. I'll keep it short. That way I'll start a nice, fresh video with the Anunnaki Bible. And we're not going to do with the Anunnaki Bible what we did with the tablets in the Lost Book of Enki, reading a tablet a day, because those are a lot longer. So what we're going to do, we're going to keep the reading from that to 30 minutes, and then the reading of My Big Toe 30 minutes, to make sure that we're staying within our hour's time. So that's how we're going to do it when we start reading there. All right. So to pick up where we left off at in My Big Toe. Mom, did I say shalom when you came in? I think I did, but I may not. May have just started. Okay, chapter 21 in My Big Toe. Remember, after we read a little bit of this, I'm going to share with y'all what happened to me in my, while I was doing my meditation thing early this morning. All right. So page 152, we're going to read, I probably won't read this whole chapter. We're not going to read the whole chapter, although there's only a few pages left. I'll read a little bit of it, then we'll pause, and then I'll tell you about what happened. Okay. Page 152, towards the middle. Well, the third one, two. It's really technically like the second paragraph. Okay. Does it seem likely that this higher level creative force, for unknown reasons, just dried up and blew away, leaving us to exist alone like deserted orphans. That premise assumes we could exist independently from our initiating source. As it turns out, our source is both initiating and sustaining. We cannot exist independently from it any more than our internal organs can exist independently from our bodies. Does this assumption, the source of our mystical beginnings no longer exists, appear to be the result of scientific analysis, or does it seem more like one of those mystical beliefs that are considered credible because they support the accepted individual, cultural, and scientific dogma? Popular pseudo-wisdom says if we, our individual selves, our culture, and our science, with our impressive understanding and knowledge, do not understand it, cannot clearly grasp how much less measure it, then it must not and cannot exist. Does this appear to you to be a scientific conclusion or the expression of a little picture belief? Coming to the logical and rational conclusion that a larger reality within a bigger picture could possibly exist beyond the confines of our present reality defines what I have called open-minded skepticism. Simply allowing this possibility, regardless of how remote you might believe it to be, and having the gumption and commitment to explore that possibility honestly and scientifically is all that is necessary to grow your big toe, a personal big toe that has the ability to accelerate the evolution of your consciousness. I have mentioned the terms personal growth, consciousness evolution, and improving the quality of consciousness several times without defining what they mean. These presently vague terms will be precisely defined after we have more fully developed the conceptual basis required to support their meaning. So should you expect our collective mystical, only from the view of physical matter reality, origin, which is necessarily initiated and sustained from a higher level of organization and a higher dimensional existence, to be obvious, easy to understand, and just like us? Do our machines, computers, pets, designer viruses, intestinal bacteria, and internal organs have a difficult time understanding human experience and motivation within the context of their existence? They cannot begin to comprehend anything but a shallow, one-dimensional sense of us. The knowledge, understanding, and intents that animate our actions and fuel our seemingly awesome power are unfathomable to them. If the understanding of the larger reality that contains our beginning is so difficult and beyond the tools of our objective science, is it any wonder that many people, having seen a fleeting glimpse of big truth derived from their own experience or more commonly delivered to them by others, have an anthropomorphized I'm not illiterate. Not that illiterate. Hold on, I gotta sound it out. Hold on, let me go back. It's a long sentence too. Okay. If the understanding of the larger reality that contains our beginning is so difficult and beyond the tools of our objective science, is it any wonder that many people, having seen a fleeting glimpse of big truth derived from their own experience or more commonly delivered to them by others, have anthropomorphized all manner of beliefs and gods to fill the void created by ignorance and fear? And all of that was a question. I probably maybe read it too fast or too slow, where it didn't seem like it was going to be a question, but all of that was a question. Okay. Now I was going into a short aside explaining what he just said. Deep ignorance and deep fear produce a long and varied list. Sun gods, tree gods, moon gods, fire gods, river gods, war gods, fertility gods, tribal gods, ocean gods, storm gods, animal gods, even booze, sex and party gods like Bacchus, to mention just a few of the probably thousands of gods people have conjured up for their own needs in their own image or in the image of their fear. What else would account for the myriad of false gods that other people believe in? Do you realize that people from every religion of the world will agree with the preceding sentence? Wow. Question. Does unanimous agreement from such a contentious group constitute a miracle? Okay, and that was the end of that little short aside. Left with total unknowing of something so fundamental and important as the circumstances of their beginning, the nature of their reality and purpose, we can forgive other people for the anthropomorphically projecting what they did know into a plausible to them at the time answer. And that is typically human, if not rational. That is a typically human, if not rational response. Unfortunately, it also sets the stage for much mischief, agony, guilt, intolerance, fear, confusion, and violence. Undeniably, a little knowledge can be a dangerous thing. That is particularly true of knowledge gained from others when the recipients do not have the personal quality to have derived that knowledge on their own, thus guaranteeing that misunderstandings will occur and that it will be impossible for the recipients to make distinctions between knowledge and pseudo-knowledge. In matters of big truth, you cannot teach, much less force someone to get it. That's good. In matters of big truth, you cannot teach, much less force someone to get it. Which is exactly why I say y'all have to experience this. Y'all got to be doing it if y'all ain't too scared. If y'all a little scary like I am sometimes, do what I showed y'all to do. I'm about to explain that to y'all here in a few minutes. Let me see what I'm pause. Because I'm ready to tell y'all what happened. Hold on. Probably right there. Okay. All right. Yeah, there are spirits for everything, not gods. It's the people that make these things a god. Yeah, you can call them spirits, gods, whatever. A lot of things people do make up. But I'm telling you how powerful the mind is. Your mind will literally create it, right? It will be real to you. Remember, what you perceive and how you think in your mind is true to you. The mind doesn't know any different. That's just how it was created. It was created to develop your truth. So if people believe something is true, it will be true for them. They will experience in their bodies the consequences or rewards of having believed what they believe. Like if you believe somebody chasing you, the adrenaline in your body will ramp up. You will start sweating and your fight or flight response is going to kick in based on what you believe and what you perceive. Religion and what we believe is no different, my G. That's why you got to be careful about what going these eye gates and what going these ear gates. It don't matter what religion you in and who you are or who you think you are. Bruh, look, okay. As a teacher, it is better to wait until your students are ready than to push big truth into an apparent position of mystical misconception within their minds. Oh, this is so good. So good. That I am coming to learn day by day. Look. I'm going to read that again. As a teacher, it is better to wait until your students are ready than to push big truth into an apparent position of mystical misconception within their minds. As a student, it is better to wait until you are ready, have grown up enough to understand big truth at a profound level than to leap headlong into a belief trap thinking that you have taken a shortcut to knowledge and wisdom. Let me read that again. That was a mouthful. As a student, it is better to wait until you are ready, have grown up enough to understand big truth at a profound level than to leap headlong into a belief trap thinking that you have taken a shortcut to knowledge and wisdom. You cannot access understanding and wisdom that are beyond what the quality of your consciousness can naturally support. You cannot access understanding and wisdom that are beyond what the quality of your consciousness can naturally support. Every individuated unit of consciousness must develop in its own unique way, powered by the free will that drives its intent. Given an important question in any dear to the heart subject, it seems that humankind, this is true for individuals as well as groups and cultures, vastly prefers any plausible, at the time, answer, even if it is likely to be wrong, to no answer at all. When knowing seems to be important, the only thing worse than a wrong answer is no answer. It is far easier and more rewarding in the short term to calm anxiety with the pseudo-knowledge than to face ignorance with open-minded skepticism. Unfortunately, growth over the long term, which is what is important, is severely stunted by an almost universal preference for the short-term feel-good solution. If faced with no answer to an important question about almost anything, we humans tend to make up an answer that suits our emotional and intellectual needs and then believe in it with a force of conviction that is equal to the power of the original need. That is how we humans are, fearful of what we do not know or understand, ill at ease with not knowing, uncomfortable with uncertainty. This is why open-minded skepticism as an approach to learning and growth is rarely implemented. Though open-minded skepticism is obviously and logically the most correct, beneficial, and productive approach to evaluating new ideas and experiences, it does not provide the immediate closure and false confidence of a belief in It does not provide the immediate closure and false confidence of a believed in conclusion, and it requires further work. Jumping to conclusions, particularly if they are widely held and therefore a socially safe short jump, is much easier and immediately more satisfying than doing the long, difficult work of honest scientific research. In these tightly held beliefs, fantasies, and delusions of... I'm about to say the wrong word. Okay. It is these tightly held beliefs, fantasies, and delusions of convenience that drive the day-to-day behavior, dysfunctional and functional, of most of us. There is almost nothing more important to us than our fantasies or beliefs. Beliefs appear to make life easier, less work, and happier, at least in the short run. Without them, we must face our ignorance, our uncertainty, our inadequacy, and our fear. Anything is better than that. The unfortunate fact is that in the long run, from the perspective of the bigger picture, beliefs and fantasies almost always have an effect that is opposite to what is intended. The process of denying a fear generally causes what is feared to manifest in your reality. The richness, importance, and meaningfulness of our subjective existence directly conflicts with the notion that if you cannot measure or physically experience it, it is either non-existent or irrelevant. Likewise, the abundance of reputable, scientifically collected data documenting paranormal happenings also flies in the face of our limited reality. Given the accepted scientific facts of wave-particle duality, paradoxical entangled particle pairs that instantaneously communicate, and statistically based material existence, modern physics itself is pushing the notion of our cherished objective reality into the subjective mind space of the experimenter. Okay. If you are thinking that subjective and rational are mutually exclusive concepts and wondering what reputable data or modern physics I could possibly be referring to, it might indicate you need to assess your beliefs, spot the traps, open up, look around, and get out of the box more often. Credible information speaking to these issues is out there by the basketful and not difficult to find. All right, so this is a little short aside about that. Examples of reputable data are available in Mind Reach. Scientists look at psychic ability by Russell Targ and Harold Puthoff, Delacorte Press, 1977, and The Conscious Universe, The Scientific Truth of Psychic Phenomena by Dean I. Radin, HarperCollins, 1977. And I'll see if there's links, if y'all care. I'll see if there's links for these two books in Amazon, and I'll share these two. Share references, just in case you want to look it up. As far as modern physics goes, an excellent non-mathematical description of the theories of relativity and quantum mechanics, written especially for the non-scientists, is The Evolution of Physics by Albert Einstein and Leopold Infeld, published by Simon & Schuster in 1961. I'll share this one too. These are only a few of large selection books that you might use as a starting point in broadening your knowledge of the boundary between physics and metaphysics. From these books, you will learn that the material reality that you think you live in is actually much stranger than you ever imagined. You will also gain an apprehension of how little science actually knows about the fundamental characteristics and properties of reality. The one thing that most modern physicists agree on these days is that what we generally take for our local 3D time order causal reality is merely a perceptual illusion. Some 60 years after quantum physics destroyed the widely accepted material foundation of physical reality, what lies behind this persistent perceptual illusion remains as mysterious as ever to a traditional science trapped in the little picture by limiting beliefs. And that's the end of that short aside, and we're going to end it after this little short paragraph right here. The reality paradigm is shifting under our cultural feet. East and West, North and South are increasingly exchanging information and inextricably intermingling their cultural and philosophic values as information and communication technologies continue to link and integrate the mind space of our planet. This is an especially propitious time to ponder these issues and to figure out what is real, productive, and non-delusional. Hold on, Tootie, but you like perfect timing. Look, I'm about to do the blessing, but I'm not going to end the video, okay?
Mommy, don't end the video.
Okay.
Give me something.
You just want to window shop. She got my iPad. She's looking on Amazon, looking at toys and dollhouses and stuff. You want to do the blessing with me?
Actually, you can buy something for me.
I'll get you something. Actually, you got some money on your little savings account. You can use some of it and you can buy something. I just got to put your card number in. Okay. Hold on. You got chocolate around your mouth, girl. Go get what you call it, and wipe your mouth. While she doing that, happy Super Bowl Sunday, everybody. I don't know if y'all rooting for the Rams or the Bengals. Neither one of them is our team. We Bears all the way.
Mom, do you just please?
We know. Well, my husband has always been a Bears fan. I just kind of married into the Bears team. I kind of grew up Cowboys, but didn't really want the friction in the household, so I decided to give up my family's team and take on my husband's team. Yes, baby.
I don't want this and that.
Oh, we'll see. But if I hadn't learned anything from my husband about sticking with a team, where he at? Your daddy woke?
No.
I don't want to talk about our team. I couldn't understand. I'm like,
Oh.
the Bears suck. I was like, why haven't you changed your team? He said, because I'm from Chicago and we rock with our team. We don't switch up just because we having a bad day. We stick with our team to the end. I said, boy, y'all are some faithful fans. So, but even through these years, I'm just like, whew. And a couple years ago, they had a good run. I was like, okay, the Bears, okay. Y'all might go to the Super Bowl this year. Look, it was so funny. My husband said,
How much?
yes. Hold on. He was like, yes. Lord, let the Bears go to the Super Bowl. This was a couple years ago when they was doing real good, right? He said, man, y'all, if the Bears go to the Super Bowl, I'm going to rededicate my life to Christ, right? This was before we had got all the different information that we know now, right? And I looked at him. I'm like, for real? And he said, I'm so serious. Look, but when the Bears started winning more and more, I looked at him. I'm like, you thinking about that promise you made to y'all? He said, yeah, I've been thinking about that. He said, I don't know that I quite want to go back into the church. He said, but Bears doing good. Yes, baby. Hold on. You can go ahead. Add that there. But you still can't. It's not. My account is not linked to this. Too. You already got $232.14 added to this cart. I am not signing in. Not now. No. We'll pick one and we'll do it from my phone and we'll add it in. Some of them things you just gonna have to wait till later. But we're just not buying all that stuff.
No, I only want.
We're gonna have to pick and choose. Right, but
Look,
towards the end of the season, towards the end of that season, the Bears kind of tapped out. Needless to say, they didn't make it to the Super Bowl. I told my husband, I said, "Ooh, you got another whole year sinning to do." I said, "You lucked out this time." He said, "Whew, I know, right?" I'm like, "You a mess. You a mess." What, Tootie?
Only I want 2 things, not 5 things.
Okay,
I
well,
want a shopping cart and I want. Oh, yeah.
Okay, we'll come back and look at this. Let's sit this right here. Okay, let's do this, y'all. Let's do this blessing. I'm not going to end a video because I can tell y'all what happened, right? Okay, so thanks for hanging out today. It is Sunday, February
didn't do the blessing.
I know, we're about to do the blessing. It is February the 13th, 2022, Sunday, day number 30 of year 4 of reading through the books of the law and the prophets and of the 4-year consecutive day count. It is day 1048. We read tablet 13 of the Lost Book of Enki, and we read a little bit more of chapter 21 of My Big Toe. Now, I forgot the page numbers. I didn't write it down, but I'll write it down later. It'll be in the description. All right, so with that being said, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and do the blessing.
That's why.
And then y'all just hang out a few more minutes if y'all can.
Mommy saw me.
While I tell y'all what happened while I'm doing this gateway process.
You saw me. I get ice cream.
Did I see you get an ice cream? Yes, I saw you get an ice cream, sis.
Yeah, I was hungry.
The blessing is found in Numbers chapter 6, verses 22 through 27.
I did the blessing already.
Listen, your face is half in this camera for Facebook. Okay, that's better. And Yahuwah spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron and unto his sons, saying, On this wise ye shall bless the children of Israel, saying unto them, Yahuwah will kneel before us, presenting gifts, and will guard us with a hedge of protection. Yahuwah will illuminate the wholeness of his being towards us, bringing order, and he will provide us with love, sustenance, and friendship. Yahuwah will lift up his wholeness of being and look upon us, and he will set in place all we need to be whole and complete. And they shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them. Them too. Them, me, them, everybody. Right? Okay. All right, beautiful people. So that's it for that. So we are officially... No, we're not ending. Hop down. So we're officially closed out of that. Okay, so now, back to what happened to me early this morning. Tootie, hop down, because I'm going to be talking for a few minutes. We'll do that after I get done. Don't end. Nope. Don't end. Christy, hey, girl, hey. Leisha, just in time. I'm about to tell y'all what happened. No, Tootie, no, seriously. You can't end it. I got to tell them what happened. Hop down. When I get done, we'll add 2 things into the cart. Then we'll order. You keep on. We won't. We're not going to order if you start acting a fool.
Just on the video already.
I told you, sis. I'm going to end it in a few minutes. Give me a few minutes. Okay. So, I keep saying last night because I was up to early this morning before I went to bed. So, technically, it's kind of like last night. But it was early this morning. So, I went to sleep a little bit after 1, right? Maybe closer to 2. Because I woke up Yeah. It was a little bit after 1 because I woke up at like 2:33. Okay, so the Monroe Institute, so the gateway process that we learned about from My Big Toe, but also the CIA document, right? And if you're doing this, I recommend you read over that again, or at least go through the different focuses so you understand which one you at. But while you're doing it, he's going to tell you which focus you're going into. Okay. So last Thursday, I started it, and I did, I'm still in wave 1, and I did the first track 2 days in a row, just kind of, preparing myself for it, make sure everything is cool. Really no manifestation of results or anything, except for I was extremely well rested both days. It was like, whew, that was a good sleep, and the meditation was only 30 minutes. It was like a physical rest, and it was really good. Okay. So then I skipped a day. I didn't do it Saturday. So, no, I'm sorry. I didn't do it. Wait, hold on. I started Thursday and Friday. And then I rested. Rested Saturday, but I was up. So it was early this morning, Sunday morning, where I did it, right? So you can say like a day break between 1 and 2. I was just going to do one more because I'm going to do it like 1 a day. And I'll spread out the days. But I slept through the second one, and it automatically took me into the third one, where the third one is where you kind of get like lift off, right? Okay. So put my headphones on, right? And I didn't even use my over-the-ear ones. I actually used these beats that I put in, but they're still noise canceling, so they were really good, right? And I put my little night mask on, the sleeping mask, over my eyes because my husband was still kind of up and he was watching TV. So I put it over my eyes and everything to cancel out all the light. So it's completely dark and I'm listening to it, and it starts off and it's nice and relaxing, right? Jermaine, shalom. So it gets into it, and he's talking you through, and he's explaining everything. And then you got your little box where you put your cares and your worries and fears in. So I did all that walking through it. And then he gets you into focus 10. And focus 10 is when the mind is sharp, completely awake, and you're aware of your surroundings, but the body is deeply asleep. So remember, I had that encounter last week, that attack where I was sharing with y'all. I was like, y'all, I was completely awake. I said my body was asleep, but I was awake. I could see what was happening around me, just like people do. Like if they die on a operating table or something, they say they have an out-of-body experience, and they saw the doctors and the nurses talking about it, and they can tell them everything that happened, and the doctors and nursing staff is baffled, like, you were like dead when we were trying to revive you. How could you tell us very specifically what was happening and what we were doing to you? It's that state, right? So focus 10, the body is asleep. You ain't dead. The body is asleep, but the mind is completely awake and it's sharp, right? So he gets you into that state. So you kind of do that a couple times, going in and out. And so this is where the fun began, right? So at this time, after doing that with the track 2 and wave 1, it transitioned and went into track 3 in wave 1, right? And so what happened was I was in that same place again where I could feel my spirit, like my whole body spirit inside of my physical body again, right? It was like, it's like entombed, like you're trapped. Your spirit is like trapped inside of it. So this time when it got to the focus 10 part in track 3, it starts with like lift off. I can't remember exactly what it was. I'm not sure whether the sound that was being produced caused it to sound like a runway, of a plane taking off on a runway, but that's what began to happen. So he's teaching you how to kind of like just get out of your body, right? So what happened at first, and when I got to that point, like I was completely conscious and awake, and I saw myself, I was like, okay, we about to have liftoff. My husband is laying right there. By this time, I could see my husband was asleep, right? They had it, sometimes he's sleeping in his basketball shorts. So what I did when I'm at this point, I grabbed a hold to his shorts, right? Or so I thought I did. Maybe it was just all in the astral realm, but I'm about to tell you what was happening. It's pretty funny. I grabbed a hold to his shorts because I didn't want to, in my thinking, I didn't want to just like fly off. So I held on to my husband's shorts. And then I heard the like, like if you're sitting in a plane, you hear the plane is ramping up. It's right there, about to take off. It's about to do its speed up. It started doing like that. I felt that. I felt my body starting to do that little tremble. And if you listen to me talk before about having different supernatural things happen, I know when I'm about to kind of like go out of body, because my body will begin to do this like little tremble. It's not scary or anything, but you can just kind of feel your body doing like this low vibration type thing. And I knew, although I couldn't really understand it, but I knew every time that happened, I was about to have some supernatural out of body experience. So some days I could like kind of catch myself. I wake myself up. Nope, not today. I do not know. No, I don't know what's out there. No, not going. And I get up off the bed and I go walk around to make sure I'm fully woke. So while I'm learning all this, I'm just like, okay, I need to make sure. But I wasn't doing it on purpose. It was just happening to me. And I'm like, okay, Father, clearly you want to show me something. You want to tell me something, but I'm not sure that I'm ready. Although I might be ready because my body's just getting ready to go. I wasn't thinking about it, but then my body just started this little trembling. So you must be ready to take me, show me something. But I don't know that I want to see what you want to show me right now. So I'm not going. And I get up, right? I'm being honest with y'all. Okay. So my body starts this whole vibration thing, and I'm gripping tight to my husband's shorts, right? And so what happens first is literally like my body, it felt like my body was taking off on a runway, right? And it's like my spirit, and although it's weird. It's like my spirit it's like a body, like the size of this body, but it was like moving around inside of this body. It's weird. Okay, so let me tell you what happened. So as that vibration started, and that was only for like a couple seconds. And then I held onto my husband's shorts, and it's like I wanted to take off, but I want to go slide out of my body, like at the bottom, but I didn't completely go out of my feet. It was like I just slid all the way down to the bottom of the bed, like a roller coaster, or taking off on the runway, like that, right? And as I went down, it's funny, y'all, I was like, woo! It was like going fast. You know how you taking off and it's just like all this momentum, or going down a roller coaster when it gets to the top. That's how it felt. And I screamed just like that, holding on to my husband's shorts. And as I went down, I'm like, woo! All the way down to the edge of the bed. It seemed like it was a long time, but it was real quick. But it seemed like my spirit now was like smaller, and it slid down my body from the top of my head all the way down to the bottom of my feet. And while holding on to my husband's shorts, as I slid down screaming at this momentum, my husband's shorts came all the way down to the foot of the bed with me. And I looked over and I said, James, your A is out. And I just started laughing. And then it's like, and it like I went backwards. It was like, whoo. And it was like, and I came backwards, and his shorts came all the way up, and I went to the top of the bed. I'm like, oh my gosh, are we going to leave, or we just going to keep going back and forth? And so I went down again. It was like, I'm like, okay. And I'm thinking, I'm fully awake and conscious. I'm like, is Mr. Monroe playing tricks? Is he playing? I was like, is this what's supposed to be happening? Because that happened a couple times. That slid down, came back, and slid back up. And each time I'm snatching my husband's basketball shorts up and down. But he seemed to be oblivious to the whole thing. Like, he's not even moving. I'm still trying to get his attention. I'm like, James, I'm like, your shorts. And I'm thinking I was going to completely snatch them off, going back down at the foot of the bed. But I didn't. But by the time I had got back up, and it was like we was kind of just like coasting at this moment. And then it was like, poof, I was out of my body. You know, I didn't have my husband's shorts in my hand anymore, but I was out of the body, and he was also out of his body. I could see our bodies laying right there, and I'm looking around our bedroom. And so we was over. We just kind of like began to talk to one another. It was just like this real quick conversation. It was like a really quick conversation. And then we was like over on the floor. And okay, so I thought it was about to get intimate. But then I was like, okay, look, I want to go back in my body now. And he just looked at me like, I said, I want to get back in my body because I don't know what else about to happen. And then I heard Mr. Monroe saying, he said, if at any time you're ready to go back into your body, he said, take a deep breath. Oh, yeah. He teach you how to take a deep breath. And when you blow out, you are below this. I I look at it like you're macabre, right? Your force field that'll go around you. It's like you're a circle of protection or whatever. So when you're astral projecting, you know, you can freely go about and nothing will penetrate you or nothing scary, anything like that. He said anytime you're ready to go back into your body, he said just think about the number 1 and take a breath in like that. And when I heard that, I was like, okay, I'm about to go. I'm about to go back in my, I told James, I'm about to go back in my body. And so he was like, okay. And so when I was taking a deep breath in, like, he actually put his lips to my lips and he blew in. And so when he put his lips to my lips and he was blowing air out into me, I was like, and then next thing I know, I'm back inside my body. And then I was just laying there. I'm like, okay, my body's still there. I'm not woke or anything. He said, okay. And then I heard Mr. Monroe's voice. He said, at any time, he actually repeated it. I think he repeated it 3 times. He said, if at any time you're ready to go back into your body, just take a deep breath in, and then you'll go back into your body. And then he said, you just move your fingers on your right hand. And that's what I did. And he said, when you do that, he said, you will come back to a fully conscious state, fully in your body. And he said, it'll be nice and smooth and like nothing scary, anything. He said, but just wiggle your fingers on your right hand and you will be back. And that's what I did. But instead of wiggling them, I actually just like, say this is my right thigh. And I just did like this. I wiggled my fingers, but I kind of just like scraped up against my skin with my nails like that, which is still counting as wiggling your fingers. And when I did that, I was completely awake, right? I'm like, boy. And I sat up, I was like, boy, this crap is real. So that's what happened to me last night, y'all. Like, I got to keep going, right? So I got to test it. And for them, like, I couldn't go back to sleep because I was, wait. Okay, let me finish saying this, then I tell you, because I woke up my husband. I was like, for them to get this down to a science like this, and this actually works, I'm like, what are we really doing here? What role does religion really play in any of this? Is religion just stories out here that kind of help us guide us to certain points as we're developing here, you know, in this realm? I'm like, all of this stuff, and probably all this stuff was going through my mind, which is probably why I couldn't go back to sleep. You know, I'm up till a little bit after 5 and then I dozed off. And so, okay, so that's that. So when I came up and said, I was like, boy, this crap is real. And so as I was waking up, when I sat up, my husband also woke up too. And he looked at me. I said, babe, because I'm thinking maybe he was actually there with me, astral projecting. I said, babe, did you just have a dream? He said, yeah. And I said, what you dream about? He said, why? I said, I just want to know what you dream about, because I just had a dream of something like a dream too. I said, but I need to know what you dreamt about before I tell you what happened to me. He said, okay. He said, He said it was weird. He said, I was in this helicopter. And he said, we began to take off. And so I'm like, yeah. Right, because I was hearing like a plane take off. So I'm thinking he really about to say what happened, what I saw. And he said, and then we got up in the air. He said, next thing I know, you got Dr. Dre in the airplane with me. Exhibit was driving the helicopter. I'm like, and I'm just looking at him. I'm like, okay, I done got this started. I'm going to have to see this all the way out. So he done went into this whole dream about him flying around this place with Dr. Dre and Exhibit and stuff and some different things. It had nothing to do with what I had just experienced. And so I was like, oh, that's it. He's like, yeah. I said, oh, you done flown around the world. I didn't even get out the bedroom. He just started laughing. Then I told him what happened. He was like, man, that is pretty interesting. I wanted to say, look, we ought to try it with both of us next time. But I know he ain't going for that just yet. You know, my husband isn't really like a dreamer like I am, but he will have dreams. And sometimes he will have dreams that are very, very accurate. But that's not as much as I do. Like maybe that'll happen maybe like once every 2 months for him. But in his dreams are just like random, probably because of stuff he ate or something he watched, you know. So that's where his dreams come from. But it's rare that he'll have dreams that are accurate like mine are. So, but I know he wasn't going for that. But, y'all, what I'm going to do, I'm going to post in a community section because I'm keeping track. And so while I was woke, after I had woke up, I just kind of typed out everything. I typed out my first day experience, you know, and then I typed out the experience that I had just had with these 2 waves that I went through. I had only intended to do 1, which was the second track, but it finished track 2 and went right into track 3, which on the playlist, that's what it'll do, you know. So I think next time when I do it, if I only want to do 1, I'll pull it out of the playlist. So when that one stops, it'll just stop, you know, and it won't take me into the next one. Because I don't know, if I'm sleeping real good one night, it could possibly just keep going through that whole playlist. And I'm not sure that I'm ready to go through the whole first wave in one night, which is what the military did with the people that they were putting through the different waves. The whole gateway process is 6 waves. They finished this training with the people in the military in 1 week. It was a 1-week training, meaning they did 1 wave a day, with the first day being the introduction to everything, right? So, and when you do it in 1 day, it's like a few hours time. So imagine having all of that action going on, not being ready for it, especially if you hadn't already been on a path to learning truth and already meditating, then it's probably overwhelming for some. But those of us that's already on the path to truth and having these experiences spontaneously, trying to figure out, okay, what causes it? Why is it happening? Who can tell me about what's going on? Because nobody, I ain't gonna say nobody. So you start searching, looking for stuff, and you find like-minded people, these same things happening to different people. You're trying to figure out what causes it. Can we do it on purpose? Why does this even happen? And it seems like it's not a color thing like certain groups of people have it. It's people from all different types of background and cultures, men and women, that are having these things happen to them, right? So at this point, based on all that I know, the Monroe Institute is probably the best school for this, that'll teach you what this is and how to walk you through it with a healthy mindset. So people astral project and not know it. Yep, people astral project and not know it. And they're just counted as dreams if they're not aware. Some people, the more it happens to them, they'll start being aware, but like, wait a minute, I was woke. I thought I was woke, but this was happening, and this, I saw y'all was doing this, and people, I was like, okay, so maybe I wasn't dreaming. There's like this line to where you can see the activity going on around you. Say like the first time, well, I called it the demonic attack that I had the other night when I saw my husband and Josiah sitting right there, the TV on, everything was just like it was when I went to sleep, and they were still having the same conversation and stuff when I woke up. So when that happens and you still see the activity, the current activity that's going on at that moment, and you can see yourself laying there and you are like outside of your body, that's called astral projecting. That's different from a dream, you know. So I'm working on my deciphering which is which, you know, like Paul said, whether in the body, out of the body, I don't know. Right. So I think this is a good exercise. Help us all go up another level. You can go at your own pace, but we have and we're not going at it blindly. We have the instructions, right? That's an actual physical lab thing, the gateway process. But also one of the founding people that helped Mr. Monroe is Thomas Campbell with his My Big Toe trilogy goes into the details of all of that stuff. Right. So I think it's just a great, I call it a great course that we're taking this whole little path, you know, help us develop our spiritual gifts, so to speak. So if he didn't astral project, who was that? It could have just been my mind causing, it was just my perception of my husband. You know, I don't know. I didn't even think to look that it was somebody else, Dana. Now you got me thinking, because he was in a whole totally different dream. But my perception, I guess, is like the world we create. I don't know. I'm still learning all this, y'all. I don't know, damn. She said, so if he didn't astral project, who was that? In my mind, it was my husband. That's a good question. I'm gonna be watching closer now, Dana. That's a good question, though. You just scared me a little bit. Now it's going to be another couple days till I get the wave. I mean, do the next one in the wave, you know. So I don't know, but yeah, I feel like it's building you up to the next thing, because I looked at the next couple tracks, and I think it goes a little bit further to where you the first couple times you're just practicing on getting in and out of your body, right? And there's quite a few different ways you can do it, from what I understand, listening to different people and how they actually get out of their body. You know, some people imagine like this silver string and they just kind of pull themselves out. Some people just stand themselves up and come out at the feet. Some people come out at the head. You know, some people just float out. Some people jump out. Some people go down and come out. You know, I was like, this is weird, but apparently you can do it anyway. Whichever way it works best for you, just get out and explore, right? So that's why I feel like, so it's building us up. And so eventually, I think that in the next few, I'm actually going to be able to leave out of my house. And I think because I'm super cautious, I probably would have, if I was completely okay, that playlist would have kept playing and I could have easily went through everything. But because I'm being super cautious and I'm like, okay, I don't know, let me just, so I'm purposely waking myself up. So I could have explored and went a little bit further, left out the house and did stuff. But I'm really cautious and still using my skepticism while I'm developing, just to make sure ain't no shenanigans gonna happen in non-physical matter reality, right? So, okay, y'all. But that's it. We literally at the 2-hour mark now. So that's it. That's all I had to share with y'all today. If y'all had any experiences, I know a couple people have, they're already using it, going through it, share it with me. Send it to me in an email or whatever, know. And if you want me to, if you give me permission, I'll share it when I come live, the different experiences that y'all are having. Or on the community page under like my experiences, find that part of where I'm tracking the days and post your experience. Yes, baby girl.
You can do it already.
Yes, we are. In a minute, I'm about to go ahead and end this. All right, y'all. So with that being said, because you're ready to buy this tour, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. I love y'all. I will see y'all back here tomorrow morning, bright and early, 7:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace. Go ahead, Tootie. Go ahead and end it.
Bye.
Bye.